dropped in the chat the sign in for you all. And I'm also going to drop in the link to the slides so that you can follow along if you want to, and maybe send some links if you need to some people, like when you see certain things. But I did want to have the schools out because I know it's not out. It sounds like a couple of you won't be out till next week, and then some of you it's into June. Some people are out on Friday, so we're all over the place. But I know there's a lot going on in schools right now between the testing and the parties and everything. So let's get to it. So I know you all need to get back to business in district, and just appreciate you all taking the time to be here. Just a reminder of our network. We do have ELA credit for you all. Um, and it's just a place for you all to be able to share the great things that you all are doing in your districts. And especially because you all have a very isolated job. Um, Most of you are the only GT certified person in your district, or the only one that's doing your task. It's few and far between, so it's nice to have a group to be able to work with. So just glad you're here today. Um, we're going to do our welcome sign in. We're going to do a little check in, do some updates, and let you all have some time to do some district share outs about great things going on in your district, because I really want you all to share, things that you've learned, things that, just things that kind of help you day to day with the work that you're doing. And I always like to focus on the positive. I think it's always good because you all have a wealth of knowledge and just really want to highlight that. Going to talk some about the resources and talk about some topics for next year and dates for next year. Okay, plans for your summer break. Put in the chat whatever numbers you want to, or type the phrase, what you doing? Are you sleeping? Are you going to get some real honest to goodness sleep? Or are you going to clean that house that has been neglected probably since January? I'm guessing you might have done some cleaning in December. Are you doing a vacation? If you're doing a vacation, where are you going? Are you going to do some hobbies? Or are you going to focus on some professional learning for you? So 1 and 3, you're going to do some sleep and some vacation. Is it already planned? Is the vacation planned? Do you know where you're going?
At my backyard to my pool.
Oh, well, there you go. Sounds like a staycation. One of the
No, my
best in my
kids keep
book.
me running, so I don't get
Yeah.
to go on vacation this summer.
So staycation, camping at the lake. Ooh, I love that. Oh, and cleaning house. Oh my goodness, yeah, that's me all the time. It's not right how my poor house is, but yes, but sleep, clean house, vacation, probably a little bit of all the above at times if we can. But 3, vacation, nice. Well, you got a vacation plan, Christy? Are you all going someplace special?
We are going to Hawaii.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah. So we have a
yes.
big vacation planned in a few weeks.
Wow, that is
It's
awesome.
Jamaica.
That that
Yeah.
that is great. Oh my goodness. So is this your first time going to Hawaii?
No, I have been before, but we're going to a different island this time.
How cool. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited for you. That's awesome. Uh, Kevin has in the chat. Oh, he's vacation Jamaica, Fort Myers, Florida, Outer Banks. Oh my goodness. You became a travel agent, so you have to work. Oh my goodness. How cool are you? I need to talk to you on that. Sounds like fun. That is neat. Oh my goodness. So are you going just to check out these places? Is that how that works for you? Oh, that's awesome. We love. Oh my, yes. That is cool. And Carolyn, you're a 3, you're doing a vacation
Actually,
to
it's a work vacation. I am going to the beach, like we'll be going to Florida with, but however, I am responsible to take high school students to Washington, D.C. with Gifted and Talented in June. So I asked for praying people that's online to pray that we have a safe trip. We leave we leave on June the 14th and we travel through the 17th. So we have 28 of us going to Washington, D.C.
Is it just an exploring trip of DC? Just a
It's
nice,
with gifted and talented students. We have an agenda to visit all the important monuments and the Capitol and all of that.
wow, that's
Smithsonian,
cool.
yes.
That is really neat. Awesome. Nice. And oh, Jamaica's your 25th wedding anniversary, Kevin.
Oh, how
Oh, and
sweet.
you, oh, that's sweet. Loves Washington, and the kids will love it. It is a cool experience. That is for sure. Well, how awesome. You have got some great things planned. Awesome. Wonderful, wonderful. Sounds like fun, fun summers. Just want to remind you all, they are still taking submissions for those spotlights for the 25-26 school year. GT falls under OSIL. It is in that division. So some of these great things that you all are doing, be sure to maybe take a chance to submit that so that people can see the great things that you have going on in your GT programs. Just a reminder, and any conversation that we might need to have around this, but your end of the year training is up, of course, on the one stop with the PowerPoint presentation and everything. But your three reports that are due June 1st are that GT summative evaluation, validation of GT records reports, and that state assessed areas for the school report card validation report. So, just making sure that you have access to that. You can click on that link to the GT coordinator one stop, and it should take you directly to the one stop if you have access. But any questions? Ms. Curry, Carolyn, you had a question.
My, yeah, my question, and I want to say to all of you all, and I just want to publicly, and I have told him face to face, Kevin Sloan, who is in the cadre here, he has been a great help being my mentor. This makes 43 years that I have been working in different um, areas, and this is my first year being gifted and talented coordinator, and it has been so overwhelming. And what I say to you about that is I taught many years in the classroom, and then I've been a principal, and then for 12 years I was the superintendent at a private school. But to have the coordinator's position, it was a whole new learning experience. And I just want to say, without Kevin Sloan, I would have been lost. But my question to you all, and I could have asked Kevin privately, but since we're on here today, I went ahead and did my end of the year report, the state and local, and I submitted it, and I received an email back saying that it was received. Now, will I be receiving a separate email with findings, or how does that happen?
Carolyn, I have never received a separate email with findings. They go through GT audits so often. And so they're just basically on a cycle. But I spoke to the new GT state person, Melissa, the one that's the contact, and she was great to answer my questions and stuff. So basically, the way she explained that system, it was so that we don't miss any students getting services. So it's really for us and to verify that, yes, this is the number of GT students we have enrolled in our district. Yes, this is the number of students we are servicing, and kind of correlate that more for our own reports and stuff. So she said it wasn't really like a gotcha kind of thing.
Okay, well, thank you, Christy.
You're welcome.
That's great. Oh, I agree. Melissa Thompson, she seems like they've done a good job replacing, getting a replacement for Kathy Anderson. She's been so sweet, and I appreciate her coming on with us last in January to talk with us too. But just a super nice person and gets back with you super fast.
Yeah, she did. She got back with us that day. We had something come up in the report, like a statement that we hadn't had before, like the IC report wasn't pulling correctly. And she helped us, got back with us. She was very friendly and knowledgeable. So
great. I love it. Does anybody else have any questions in relation to the end of your reporting that has to go on, or any suggestions, tips is always a good thing too for us. But Appreciate that. Not, let's see. And I saw a couple more people come on. Glad to see you, Michelle. Hey, and Brenda. Good to have you all. I dropped in the sign in for you all and the link to the slides too. Glad you all are here. Next, just want to remind you all of the hauler we do have. We were talking earlier, Carolyn and I were, she had Chad come and do it was art, right? That he did
Yes.
for you all.
Yes.
And you all worked him well. He was with elementary, middle, and high. And he hadn't really got to work a lot with elementary, but he really enjoyed it. He enjoyed working with those little kids and doing just some really neat art experiences with the kids. But just wanted to drop that on there just to make sure that you all are aware that if you're doing a summer camp or need something to have to the side with something, maybe you're doing some STEM camps, the holler guys would be great for you all to reach out to as an option for that, just to make sure that you're aware of that and just having the links there readily accessible to you. Can't talk about GT and summer experiences without mentioning WKU, the Center for Gifted Services. So just that's got a link. If you click on that picture, it'll take you to the website with the summer opportunities. I know for us in Eastern Kentucky, that is a long track. And that a lot of times we think, well, maybe the kids may not do it. I had students different times go to Vampy. And, in Pike, because I was at Pikeville, but different ones. The thing that is often a issue, though, is that cost, but they do provide scholarships and financial assistance. So be sure to be looking into that. But I had students in Scats and Vampy, and I remember Amber, she shared with us her great experience of actually getting to go and help with those summer camps, which was a really great thing to hear about. But just if you have kids that would be interested in being able to go to some of those, be sure to make sure they're aware of those, that the parents have access to that. Other things, Challenger Center. When you click on that image, it should take you to the website. But that's just a nice little flyer to let you see dates and costs. What I like about this, these are a little more reasonable. I live 10 minutes from the Virginia border, and I would bring Sarah to the MIT learning that they would do. And there were different things I would bring her to, and it was a great experience for her. So just want to make sure that you are aware of these and sharing that out with your kids, because this is a more affordable option for a lot of our kids. And there's all different dates and times and ages, so that kids can maybe find something, especially for those STEM kids that we have. Just wanted to make sure you were aware of that one. And I'm sure you all probably know a whole lot more, and I'm going to ask for you all to share any more. East Kentucky Science Center. I'll be honest, I wasn't aware of this one. I went and looked at it and saw that they are offering summer camps for the rising K1 students. You'll see they have a couple of dates. Cost is still not as expensive as some of the others that we will see, that like if kids are going and staying a week, of course that's going to have some expense, we know for that, but those are a little bit more reasonable prices. But rising second and third, rising fourth and fifth, so just making sure that parents are aware of some of these opportunities. If you're wanting to maybe work and get a little group of kids together or something like that, that's also an option. But these are great because Challenger Center and the East Kentucky Science Center are right here. And so it's not a huge travel to have to go to those. And a lot of parents would be interested in sending their kids. Theater opportunities. Now, there's more than this, but Jeannie Wiley Theater have their summer camps available. Yeah, there's a cost with that one too, but they do have some financial scholarships too for those. But Jeannie Wiley is a great experience for a lot of our kids in the region, and helps with that art piece that we want to make sure that we're providing them options with those. Lexington Theater has quite a few options too. And, it depends on the kid and some people have family in Lexington to where they would go be able to stay with them for some of those summer camps. So, I mean, it kind of just, my thought is always let them know about the opportunities. And if it's something that they can make work, at least they know about it. And so just want to make sure, thinking about that. Does anybody else know some other really great theater opportunities besides those two? Those are the two that I'm the most familiar with. If not, we'll move on. But that's two really good ones. Not back over here. All righty. Let me look and see. Another science option that is in the area is at Pikeville Elementary. Some of you all may be aware of that one, but it does have a cost to it, mainly for materials, and the kids are going to be there all day. But at Pikeville Elementary, the camp convention, June 15th through the 19th. Now, this is something, I put the first link there because maybe you would be interested in providing this for your students. But camp convention is something that you can take on, be the coordinator. I'm sure Markayla Stevens, I think, is the current one at Pikeville that does she kind of organizes all of it, and Kaylee Markham would be another contact. But they have that, and teachers work it. They get a little extra money to work that camp. The kids come. A lot of parents, we all know, use that as maybe like a daycare option, because if you compare daycare to the cost of maybe one of these summer camps, it is a cheaper option for one of these. So that might be something for you to look into. Or if you just know of some kids who would really like to go something that's close to home, that's maybe reasonable as a price, and it is a week-long camp. So just want to make sure you're aware of that, but also want to make sure you're aware that you can do this yourself in your own district if you want to provide this. My daughter was a camp convention kid. She went all the way through in elementary, and then she became a camp counselor, and it was a really good experience for her. So just an FYI on that. That might be something. And it does let some of your teachers have a stipend, like a little extra money in the summer, if they'd like to do a week science camp. Now, this is something for you all. Futurity is a free website that Kentucky has, and it's really more for counselors, but I wanted to share it with you all because you all work a lot with kids and just knowing about things. But Futurity is a website that is all about career and college for students in Kentucky, and it has scholarships, it has opportunities, it has things related to salaries. I mean, it has lesson plans in relation to careers. I mean, it is a wealth. So I just wanted to put that on there in case you would be interested. It's a 1-hour informational session on this resource. So just wanted to make sure you were aware of that. We also are doing an AI training of what it is and how we can use it. It is a hybrid option. So you can come in person or join virtually. That is June 15th, and our Alex Smith with the Holler Guys, he's going to be doing that for us. And so good thing for us to have. Okay, we all know that SAT is not the option as of right now for next year because they're going to have to redo the submission process. So it may be back to ACT or it may be SAT. But we went ahead and scheduled this group to come and do a training for math science teachers. Wanted to make sure you all were aware of this, but it is a group that's coming in, so there is a charge for this one because they have to have so much to be there for the day. But it is just kind of helping. So if you may not attend, maybe you know some people in your district. This is for 7 through 12 English, math teachers, and I know you all work a lot with those people, but you do a lot of things within your area supporting English and math too. So thought that might be something of interest for you all. Dyslexia for a day. We all know that twice exceptional um, category that we have to look at when we're looking at our identification. So what's really neat about this is a 2-day experience, and Chastity Craft does it here at KVEC. And she takes you through like even feeling what a dyslexic student feels like, and then talks about strategies, which is a really good thing um, for people to be able. You hear all the time. I know this was always a struggle if you have a kid who's reading at a different grade level than what you're teaching at. So maybe I have them in 7th grade, but they're on a 3rd grade reading level. Lots of really good strategies to be used. So if this might not be something you're interested in, but definitely something maybe some colleagues just want to make sure. But there are 2 dates. That's the registration for the 3rd. And everything's on the PL calendar that you all can see. I didn't pull everything, but I did want to mention that. The only other thing, legislative updates, and I didn't put a slide on it because they haven't really put out the complete guidance on it yet. We had Dr. Brian Perry at our school and district admin meeting, and he talked about for GT, the one that, and you all are probably very well aware, if a student now goes to Craft or Gatton, it was passed that the SEEK money follows now. And so that's a change, financially significant, change for us as the districts. But just want to make sure that you are aware of that. That will be more detail in the guidance that'll be coming out from KDE, but that was one change related to GT. There also, we had where we are to make sure that we are providing those accelerated options, which wasn't really anything new, but um, making sure parents are aware, that legislation piece being in there. And they're also collecting a survey right now of math availability, like what math courses are being offered. And so kind of focusing on the math. But is there anything, anybody else, before we go on to district highlights, I want to make sure, any questions or anything? Not. Like I said, more guidance will be coming with several of these. Um, let's go ahead to go to some district highlights, and would like for everybody to share something, just learning experiences. Carolyn, she was sharing, about just uh, the learning experience earlier. Would you like to share a little bit more? You were talking about how you were, the experience that it was for you, this just the difference.
Okay, so Kevin transferred, and Kevin's online with us. He transferred to Letcher County, and I would have loved for him to stay in Floyd County, and I would have loved to continue to work with him in this department. But it was an experience because when he walked out, I was told that I was the coordinator, and like I shared, I have many different roles. But what I found in Floyd County, even though he did an excellent job with the students, I have to say, and I'll keep it very positive, the principals and teachers are so, I feel like, consumed with all of these things that they must do. The way I started suggesting is in PLCs, at least once a month, principals and the committees, they need to be looking at these test scores because so many kids fall through the cracks of not being identified in the academics because the paperwork that goes with it. So it was just a huge learning experience for me. I do enjoy the position, but however, when you have a district as large as Floyd County, being the coordinator and the teacher, just to get out and to get in the classrooms, because you have to clear it with the principal, you have to clear it with the teachers. It's just, that's what I found overwhelming.
Yeah, that is true for sure.
I can
That's a
piggyback on that too. We're like half the size over here in Letcher, and a lot of the which they're busy, trying to keep it positive, like Carolyn's saying there. The paperwork that goes with it. What I have found over here that I wasn't able to do in Floyd County because it's so big, is I start the paperwork for them. I really do. Like I've got when I go through the test scores, every time, the 3 times that we take MAP, for example, I go through the test scores and, you know, I start the paperwork process and do as much of it as I can and then go around to the teachers. And that has helped a lot because I know what she's saying. When I was in Floyd, it was just impossible. There's too many kids. And, it's really hard to get that paperwork, and sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's not, sometimes they've just got so much on their plate already that they forget. You may tell them, we need to get this kid nominated, and then they forget. Or so one thing that's helped me over here is I've started the paperwork process and go around to the teachers. I try to find out their planning periods and go see them, and do that, and that's helped a lot.
That's great.
I found that out too. I found that out quick last year when I took over the job. Is if you kind of start it for them. I do the same thing, like with MAP. As soon as the MAP scores, as soon as everyone's finished with MAP, I try to go through and I'm sure there's some that slip through, but I try to look through and see ones that we can get in.
That's great. That's a good lesson to learn too. I think sometimes people don't always think about GT being as urgent because we think sometimes those kids are going to be fine. And they need to be they need that individualized and that support as well. And so I think sometimes too the urgency, like some of you all said, is not there. But it sounds like you're all doing some great things to get to those nominations and getting them identified. I think that's great. Does anybody else have anything else to share? What about, have you tried something new? Amber, you were talking earlier about some new things. I'd like for you to share some of the things that you've been trying. If you
Well,
don't,
it's my second year as GT in Knott County, and we've done a couple of things this year that have been great. We started, we already have 8th graders who go to the high school for algebra, but we started a 7th grade discovery lab. They go once a week to Knott Central. It's about 25 kids, and they get to do actual labs with, we had a teacher that was willing to take that on, one of our high school science teachers, and it has just been great. They've got to dissect pigs. They've done robots one day. They've done stuff with magnets. But they're doing the same labs that a lot of the high schoolers are doing this year. So they'll already have that knowledge when they get to high school. And then we also got to have a GT banquet this year, which we've never done before. That was really nice to be able to bring all of our schools together and make that happen. And then next year, we actually are going to have all of our middle school GT students will go to the high school one day a week for a enrichment class with me. So we'll be starting that next year. So I'll get to have all my middle schoolers in one class one day a week, which is going to be awesome because I sometimes feel like a chicken with my head cut off running around. Our schools are very spread out, and I may have 3 students at one school and 12 at another. And I sometimes feel like I'm not providing the services I need to with them. So this is going to help with that a lot because I'll have them all in one place every week. So I'm very, very excited about doing that next year as well. And we'll also be continuing the Discovery Lab.
that is awesome. Yay, that's some great things going on. Anybody else have some other things they want to share, some highlights going on in your district with GT that maybe you've tried that has worked well, or maybe it's something that you do every year and is just a really great thing?
Um, I did one. I'm hoping that it's going to be on WYMT this week. We did an archaeological dig,
Cool.
and I've had some high school students that helped me. We actually did it. We had a new long jump pit for track, which I helped coach track as well. And um, during the beginning of the year, we went to a training, the teachers' trainings that we do at the beginning of the year. I saw this and it was on a larger scale like I did this year. But I used to teach. I taught art for 21 years, and I don't know. I think it might have been for my one of my AP art history classes I taught. Um, I took these little like Tupperware boxes, like the storage boxes, um, and I think I did four of them and put dirt in it and hid little artifacts in it. And each box was a different country. They had to figure out where they were. But that's how I did it. I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. So this year, when I saw the training and I saw them doing this large scale, it gave me the idea to do it then. And I was like, I want to do that. And originally, I was going to have maintenance bring their backhoe up and just kind of dig me a spot out, you know. But then when we had the long jump pit put in, I said, oh, that'd be the perfect place to do it. And then I don't have to have that hole dug every year if I want to continue doing this. So we brought our middle schoolers up. We did it over the course of 2 days. And we've got four middle schools, so I did like a 9 to 11 shift where they come and did that. And they measured and put stakes in the ground and wrapped the twine around, and I already had the the stuff buried. And what we just buried like old tools that like one of them was a curry brush, like a horse brush, and it was over 100 years old. It was just tools that are kind of obsolete now. That I just wanted them to connect that to our culture, our Eastern Kentucky culture. And so I had my high school students I shared a document with them. And, I did a few of them to show them how to do it, but take a picture of an old tool. Some of them were buried, some of them were not. Some of them were just to have a bunch for them to look through and learn about. So we had like 40 or 50 pages of tools and a little description underneath that told what its use was and when it was invented and all that stuff. So, but they actually found 8 artifacts that I had buried, and I let them use a metal detector for probably one or two of them. I made it kind of competitive because when we gridded it off, I made the left side like Team A and the right side Team B. And my high school students graded them with a little clipboard, and they got to wear like I think my students wore an orange vest. My high school students wore a yellow vest because they were the field experts. So they graded them on how well they used the tools and the brush to brush everything off. And we went over that at the end, like who won. That was a big competitive thing. They loved that, and they really liked the metal detector. And had some STLP kids involved in it too. They came up and filmed and interviewed my students, interviewed high school students, interviewed me, um, and just got some footage of the dig, and it was awesome. I've going to build on it next year. Probably do like kind of do a country like Egyptian artifacts, and to build on it even more. What I'd like to do to get my more high school students involved with it, because my job here is mostly middle school. Like they want me to focus 4th through 8th grade as far as like the activities that we do. Because high school here, um, we have actually an ATC on campus that that's nice. Like in Floyd, we had to get them on a bus and take them there. But here, being the only high school, that's an advantage here that it's on campus, and all of our students have to take ATC courses here, as part of their schedule. So that's really awesome, and I make sure my art students are in art class, my drama kids are in drama class. Look through their schedules and stuff like that. But I thought a better way to get more high school students involved in this one would be to maybe let them 3D print some like Egyptian artifacts or whatever country I go with, and get them to make the artifacts to bury. Because I'm
That's a
probably
neat.
yeah. I just think it's we
That's
start
cool.
and we that should be our goal, is to improve on what we do every year. And I can't remember who gave me that idea. Might have been my wife, Sonia. She gives me good ideas a lot of times. Don't tell her I said that,
Okay.
uh, but yeah, that was an awesome activity, like a culminating experience. We did that last week or the week before, um, and it was great. The kids loved it.
That sounds like it. That's
Kevin, I would
awesome.
love for you to share, like even next year when we meet, share like the video that your STLP kids did.
Yeah,
The,
yeah. It's
I'd love to see the pictures and stuff of what you've done.
shoot, I've got it. I've got it right now. I could share it.
You want to share? I can let you share your
I can
screen.
do that. I got like a 2 minute video. Oh, well, it's on my other computer.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
But
Well, you could maybe share that in August for us.
yeah, no
How's
problem.
that? That would be cool. That would be neat.
Yeah, I do all my video and editing stuff on my iMac. I just really like it, iMovie, and
Hmm.
I'm not on that PC right now. So
Yeah, understand. Yeah. So we'll say Kevin sharing footage from STLP Kids video on Dig. I think I'll remember what that means. I don't know. Sometimes I worry about myself. Um, well, that's really neat too. Um, I do want to go ahead and let Tammy share if she would like to. Something just super, super excited for them. Floyd County has students who have advanced, and they've been involved with STLP for years and have always had a huge number go. And how long have you all been involved with STLP, Tammy?
Well, so at a very small level, I think we've had someone from the high school throughout the years be a part of it.
Uh-huh.
But just last year is when we started the district initiative
Yeah.
and kind of said everybody's doing it. We did the district, pulled everyone over to the high school and actually had like a community district-wide STLP. So last year when they went to state, we had no one place. And so came back knowing what we need to do. And we had a team from every school place, like go to state, move on to be able advance, I guess is the word for it. So that was exciting to know that, we had a group from every school shine in that way. And then our high school students won the best technical project. And what I find so amazing with this is last year before Christmas, we missed several days because of water line breaks. And these girls, Sarah specifically, she was like, I don't know what that I want to do. She's like, I have no idea what kind of project to do. And then she's like, I know we need to fix the water situation so we don't miss school. And then she looks at Abby and says, what are you doing? And Abby's like, I don't know. And she said, well, let's do something with the water line break. And that's just how it was created. And they came up with this idea. And when they showed the community at our district level, there was, we had people from KDE here that day also walking around and judging. And there was just so many questions, and everyone was in awe at what they had created. The girls had no idea. And they just stood like with a look on their face, like, can you believe this? And so we actually got in touch with a patent lawyer in Lexington, and I took the two girls there, and they presented to him. And so he's helping us look to make, to be able to get a patent on their idea. And then he gave the girls suggestions to reach out for funding. And Abby is an alumni from the Space Trek camp at MSU. And so I reached out to that program and the coordinator. And so she was like, yes, we would love to help with the funding. And so that's where we are right now. The girls are going to meet, with some consultants from MSU. And then, of course, they're preparing to move on to the national level. But, this they may get a patent and be able to sell this. And that's what
That
we're really, and it just, the idea came from missing school because it was, everybody's aggravated. One of the reasons we're moving on through to almost June, graduate, getting out of school was missing early on because of water line breaks. So it's just kind of amazing to see how this went further and further.
that is awesome. I love it. That is awesome. Such a great story. You'll have to keep us updated on it
Oh,
next
yeah,
year.
I
Let
will.
us know what happens with it.
Yeah.
But that is phenomenal. That is great. Now, was there something else too you wanted to share? Was there anything else?
So I had sent those pictures, but I think that was even when we'd already started. But I had the Challenger Learning Center, their outreach program come. And for anyone on here, if you have not collaborated with your public library, you're missing out. They have money, they have resources. For the most part, like from what I understand, they're wanting in the schools. And so I collaborate with our public librarian. And so we've been servicing our elementary schools going in once a month. We just kind of started in January getting in there, but with his collaboration. And he already had lessons made up, aligned to the Kentucky Science uh, lessons, and he paid for the resources that we used. And so it was no money from me. And then I reached out to the Challenger Learning Center, and we brought all the fourth and fifth grade students to the library. And they have a conference room we were able to put on that. He was able to set up, it was called Blast Off, and it was talking about the Artemis mission and what it took to get to the moon. And it was a whole group where, he had a lot of things that he showed the kids, but then he also pulled a few kids up that was interactive. And it lasts for a little over an hour. And then we were able to go downstairs, and we had different sessions set up in the library. And he took the kids around the library and discussed the different parts of the library and what all resources they had. And, we had some STEM sessions set up. So it was just a good day. We spent the whole day there.
I love how you partnered with not only your public library, but with the Challenger Center too.
Well,
And
and it's
so,
been a big push from our superintendent, and even like the Kiwanis Club in West Liberty and our judge executive, they were all really pushing, wanting to see a partnership with the Challenger Center. So when I had that opportunity to bring them here, it's so difficult, for buses and just the timing and to make it all work.
yeah,
So it was easier to bring them to us.
that was awesome. Now, with the funding, did you all pay for the Challenger Center to come,
So
or
yes,
did the
my
public
gifted,
library?
no, the gifted funding
Okay,
came from, that's what brought the Challenger Learning Center.
okay,
But
wow,
actually, he provided pizza and food for the
wow.
kids, the library did,
Uh-huh.
all the extra things that we did at the library.
Yeah, I think
And it
that,
was difficult for me to set it up in one of the elementary schools, so I used him as the hub of it all.
that's really smart because you've got so many elementary schools that makes it look, it gives a more neutral
Right.
location.
And I said I kind of hated to set up this presentation or assembly in one of the schools, and then all the kids there be wondering what was going on, and it
Yeah.
counted as a little field trip. Got the kids out into the public library,
Hmm.
so just building the relationship with him. He does a lot of after school activities and summer programs. And so he was able to make those relationships with the kids as well, trying to get them back in the library.
Well, that's great. But you're right, they have funding, and a lot of them want to do things, but they just don't know. But GT is a wonderful avenue to make use of some of that. That's a
And
wonderful.
he's helping fund the AR rewards, like for all the kids in our elementary level that met the goal.
Mm-hmm.
He's helping me fund that. He buys books for like kindergarten kids. I mean, there's money there.
Right. Yeah. I was talking to somebody and that they were telling me that their public library that they uh, had so much some I guess some have more than others, but some of them were really struggling with spending the money and finding ways to spend it. So if you reach out to your public library, and I hope a lot of you are pulling up another tab and looking at who your public library is if you don't already know in your county, but reaching out to them because if nothing else, just asking because who knows what doors that can open. I love.
And he's had a lot of ideas to give me that I didn't think about. And whenever we were discussing like an AR reward,
Mhm.
he said he had this list, I guess all the, that they share across libraries of different educational consultants and different people to bring in, so he had a list and then I was like, well, I'd really like to get the Challenger Learning Center here. And so we just picked that one instead. But he also, um, this has been maybe a couple years ago, thinking about the archaeology. Um, I brought over my middle school GT kids to the library and he reached out. It was someone from the University of Kentucky that brought all these, artifacts, lost the word, that came, and had like human skulls and
Oh,
like
wow.
discussed all of this with the kids. And so we came to the library and that he funded them coming and all I had to do was bus the kids over. And he always
Hmm.
feeds them. He always has money for food when we go there. So
And that's hard to come by a lot of the times for us in public schools. That's not always an easy one. So that's awesome that they will feed them too. That's phenomenal. So that's a great resource. Definitely tap into that.
that idea came from our eighth grade career mentoring. We had kids that we had like two kids that wanted to be an archaeologist, and I was supposed to find a career mentor for them to go somewhere. So when I reached out to him, and he was like, well, I can bring someone here. So I just brought the eighth grade GT kids along with those students that had that career chosen.
Oh, that's cool. Very neat. That is awesome. So that's a great resource. So hopefully, like I said, that you all are searching that up. That's a great partnership there. And I feel like a lot of our kids, especially where we've just had this Artemis mission, that there's going to be a revival in that
Yeah.
science, NASA,
And
you
it
know,
really shocked me a lot of this. So when he came, it was right after, like a week later. Some of the kids didn't even realize that Artemis had went and made a trip. And I just took for granted that that would be so being discussed everywhere, but
yeah.
wasn't, not
Mm.
even in our classrooms.
Cause oh my, cause I like anytime we did anything, science like that, if I was aware of
Right.
something happening, I would always try to make sure. So yeah, so hopefully, that'll continue to pique the interest of the kids because I think there'll be more and more. Thank you for sharing, Tina. That's some great stuff. I'm looking forward to hearing more about and great tip about the public library. Does anybody else have anything to share? Something that you have found that might have been helpful or um, highlight or something new that you've tried this year that's just been, or it might be just a good old safe thing that you do every year that you may not realize nobody else is doing it. Does anybody else have something to share? They would like to share what's going on in their districts.
Well, one good thing is we have worked really hard and we are now going to have Algebra 1 for our middle schoolers next year. So that was a big deal.
Hey, that's a
I had
big deal.
Yeah, so we've worked really hard all year long, and we're just in the process with applications and those kinds of things. So we're really super excited about that. So That's a big deal.
That's
Also,
awesome.
that one of the high school teachers invited myself and my middle school students to go to the UK College of Engineering with some high school students. And come to find out, most of the high school students were my students as well. So it was a great day. And we got to tour the actual College of Engineering, see classrooms. They talked to us. And then we took them over to the student center and they had lunch. And I think that part was the most eye opening for them. They were like in shock just of all the food choices, plus just seeing all the students. So it was really kind of precious in a way, but it was a really good day. So it was good.
Well, that's awesome. So the high school teacher invited you. That's a great thing, is just piggybacking on maybe a trip that they're taking with one class. That's a really good idea. So if they're already going, why not you hang in and go with them if they're open to that, and take your GT students in science, math. That was a great idea.
Yeah, it was a really good day, and I appreciated him inviting us. And like I said, my students, they had a great day. So
Wonderful. That is so cool. Love it. And congratulations on Algebra 1 in middle school. I know that's been a conversation we've had, and glad that's working out with you all. That's fabulous.
thank you.
Does anybody else have something to share from the year? Just little things like that we can all learn from. Yeah. Drop it in the chat too if you want to. Tammy's going to send me some pictures from the Challenger Center at the library, so we have that too. So I'll add that slide. Do you all have any questions needing discussed? Are there any issues that you have that you'd like to present to the group, just to say, hey, I'm having an issue with this. What are you doing with this? As possibilities. If not, you can drop it in the chat. But anything, especially where we're getting ready to be out of school for you all, yay, I know. So exciting, all these great vacations getting ready to happen. But questions to kind of ponder as you go into the next year that you wouldn't mind. Tam gave us a great suggestion with definitely check in with your public library if you haven't already done that. I'd also maybe recommend your Chamber of Commerce as well. Some of them have some funding opportunities for your schools.
Yeah. So I know our Kiwanis Club is
Yeah.
always willing to give. Our the Rotary Club, West Liberty Rotary Club, pays for the Wave Foundation to come in. That's not necessarily, they don't do it just for the GT kids, but that's a possibility if you wanted to reach out. But they do it for all fifth grade students, and they pay for the Wave Foundation, which is out of the aquarium, Newport Aquarium.
Okay.
So like they'll bring a shark in and or different, they have different animals that they bring in, and do they have a penguin
Mm-hmm.
that they'll bring? But that's something that they'll reach out to me, and that's something they've done every year.
Oh, that's neat. I
And
like that.
like the Kiwanis Club is always saying they have money to give.
So that's a good one too. So Kiwanis, so looking at some of those, because they're all about wanting to support our kids. If I don't have any questions, we'll go on. I do want to remind you, if you will, click on that GT Padlet, because I do want to point out a couple of things. Teaching Art Together grant is due September 1st. So if you have not seen that, most of you probably knew about it before I did. I wouldn't doubt that one bit. But the application deadline is, so just kind of looking through that to see if that's something that you might would want, because I know sometimes we struggle with finding some things for our students, but that would be something to be aware of, that grant. Um, I also included the grants page, the Kentucky Arts Council grant page, because they have different things there all the time to be aware of, that to just go click on it from time to time. let's see, but just being aware of some of those opportunities. Also to be aware of, well, I clicked on this, the Kentucky Junior Chef Competition. Submission is May the 30th, and that was found. I found it at this, I put them both on there for you all. But this has been on here for a while, contest and other events. If you've never clicked on that, and some of us, we find things and then we forget where they are, at least I know I do. So I put it here on this Padlet for you all so that you could go and check it from time to time because they're all the time putting things. Notice here, nominations open for School Garden Squash Challenge. If you have a school garden, this might be something for a squash-based recipe using school garden grown ingredients. So it's a competition, and we all know we all like a little competition, right? The safe driving could earn Kentucky teens up to $3,000 looking at some of these things. This Kentucky Junior Chef Competition, that's the one I had. So if you click on it, you can see that the recipes, and it shares right down here the Kentucky website. It has that you can go to, but if they're interested in competing, they can submit their intent to compete along with a recipe that they would want to include. And then it shows here about, finalized recipes must be submitted by October 1st, but they have to submit that they're going to want to do this by May 5th. And then the state competition is November 12th through the 13th at Sullivan University in Lexington. So if you have some kids that are just really interested in that, this is just something that they love, because cooking hits so many areas of GT. I mean,
What is the age level for that?
that is a great question because I did not see it on that. Let's go look at the website. Junior Chef. I'm not seeing. They don't look very old, do they? We used to have a group of kids that would just compete at the state fair for competition for cooking. I'm not seeing an age yet. I'm probably going right over. Anybody else seen it yet?
No, I
I
don't think
wonder
it.
on that tab if you go over to what to know, right beside it.
Oh yeah, we're
What
on
to
the
know? All required.
We're there now.
It says here though, all required forms, recipes, entry fee up no later.
Grades 8 through 12.
Thank you. 8 through 12. There you are. There we go. So there it is. So 8 through 12. So having a cooking team, is that something? It might not be something you want to do, but it might be something that maybe you still have a home make. Or consumer science, that you might want to pass this along to. Or maybe it's just something that, somebody who's really interested and has a passion with this, that might be something they want to do. But I had no idea that was even, a thing there. I'll just be honest. But when I went and I looked at this page, the contest and other events, they're all the time posting things there that I had never heard of. Some different opportunities for students. I've rearranged this to where the latter ones are below, but just wanting to make sure I'm aware of some of the summer camps. We already talked about WKU there with the Gifted Center. We know that that's an expense, that some of our kids, may do it, but there is some funding there. I loved how, I think it was Kevin mentioned about that the school, the TSA competitions. I have that right here listed on here that I'd put the other day. All right. Understand. Thank you for being here. We're almost finished, so you go right on. Thanks, Tammy. But just have a lot of things listed here for you all. Now you'll notice as you go on down, some of them are like when you start getting down to, where is it? Uh, Applications due in October, probably right about here, the February UK Engineering Day. But I try to keep those on there just to remind us when these typically are due, like the Rogers Scholars, just so that you all realize that those types of things are going to be out and about. So I put them and move those to the bottom. Also, things for you all. They have things at the Challenger Center for you all to be involved in. Robotics, oh my goodness, Lego League Challenge, you that is a phenomenal thing. So love that as an option. So being aware of that, there's things out there for you all, but just make sure that want you to know that those links are there for you to be able to go and put. If there's links you want me to add to this, please let me know, and I will definitely add anything that you all want on there. This is your Padlet. We want it to be beneficial. If you want a whole new column, let's put it in there. Okay. But just want to make sure that our PL calendar, just so that you are aware of that, that there's all kinds of things going on through the school year. So I want to make sure that you know where to find that. You can see here we are on the list, but just want to make sure there's a listing and all the things coming up, and then our GT Cadre folder. Topics for next year. If there's anything else that we would have that you would like to have us to put on the list, these are always things we try to talk about: field trip opportunities, funding sources, leadership opportunities from districts, resources. Like, what are you doing in relation to leadership for your students who are identified? Resources you're using with your students, some of your favorites. Our meeting dates were done. I apologize for the difficulty of getting to meet. I don't know what has happened, but I have had several things come up here in the last couple of months that have messed with my dates. But here are our dates for next year. I am flexible. I mean, the fourth Monday of the month, that's what it has been. I do not care to send a survey if Mondays are not a good day and you don't think, hey, let's maybe do a survey and see if another day's better. I don't care to do that. Or is the time not the best time? 10 to 12? I'm not sure, because I think the original thought was a lot of you all go early and are at schools, and so 10 to 12 seemed to be a good time frame. So just let me know if you would like for me to survey the group to see about changing it. I am perfectly okay with that. Did that with our principal network and school admin district. It had always been on Thursdays. Next year, we're doing it on Wednesdays because they said they wanted Wednesdays by an overwhelming majority. I had no idea. So we're going to do it next year on a Wednesday. So just want to make sure you all, if you want me to survey and let's do some changing, I do not mind one bit. I am not, we always got to work to make things better. And anything that we can do to make this network better, you let me know. So I'm going to drop it in the chat.
Mary, one thing that I would like to put on there that I'm kind of struggling a little bit is using local norms. If maybe we could talk about that a little bit next year. I've taught that. Amber's been a great help to me. But yes, that might be something that I know personally I could use a little bit of help with.
Okay, will do, and I'll find somebody to using local norms. Perfect. We'll try to have somebody at our next meeting in the fall in August to have a conversation on that. I'll see about, I'll talk to Melissa from KDE and she might can join us, or maybe recommend somebody to join us, because sometimes there's other districts too, or other states, people in other states I sometimes have found. So that's a great one. If there's anything else, we know we're going to have Kevin share some footage from STLP Kids on his archaeology dig. That was so fun to hear about. But if there's nothing else, I dropped in the chat the feedback survey. I know we are a little bit early. It's 11:06, so you can change it to an hour if you want to, or if you're going to go explore some resources, maybe take a look at the Padlet. And do some diving into those, you go right ahead and make it 2 hours. So just want to make sure that you all have what you need. If there's anything I'm leaving off or if there's other opportunities out there, let me know. And thank you all so much. Appreciate you all being here today. And just hope you all have a great end of the year. And always happy to hear all the great things going on in your districts. Thank you all for being here today. As soon as you finish, you're free to go. Got a whole hour still. I'm sorry. Dr. Edwards, did you say something? I couldn't hear it.
Oh, no, I did not. I just posted something in the chat just thanking you, and the Padlet resources are they're truly great. So thank you for organizing that.
Oh,
it's easy to find.
Welcome. And thank you for adding to it. You gave me the good one for April, the one site, and I went back and I was getting ready to delete it, but I clicked on it and it already has the meeting date for April of 2027. So I've got that on there too.
And NAGC will be in Louisville in 2027. The National for Gifted Children in Louisville.
Really? All right. Well, that's good to know. Let me go back to that. Let me find that. Can you find that? Like, is there a link to it?
I can find that and I can send that to you.
Would you? And I'll add that on there too.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So glad you're here today. Awesome. Awesome. Appreciate you all. You all go and have a great summer with all those awesome trips.